A man had lived strongly. One evening, perhaps he had drunk too much, perhaps the constant sight of beautiful women had hallucinated him a bit. Leaving the meeting place after walking a bit in a zigzag along the road, he fell into a ditch. It was very dark. His body got stuck between rocks and bushes. He was a little scarred and he didn't move for fear of falling even deeper. The bushes gathered around him, the slugs crawled on him, silvering him perhaps. A toad landed on his heart to feel its beating, and actually because it considered him still alive. The hours passed, morning approached, and the first flashes of sunrise. People began to pass. The man started yelling for help. A gentleman with glasses approached. He was a scientist returning home after working in his experimental cabinet. "What's up?" he asked. "I would like to get out of the ditch," replied the man. "Oh, would you like to get out of the ditch? And what do you know about the will, about free will, about servant will? Would you? Always like this ignorance. You know only one thing, that you stood by the laws of statics and fell by the laws of kinematics. What ignorance, what ignorance!" And he walked away, shaking his head in disdain. More footsteps were heard. New invocations of men. A farmer approached, who was carrying a pig to sell and was smoking a pipe. "Oh, you fell into the ditch. You got drunk, had fun, and fell into the ditch. And why didn't you go to sleep like I did?" And he walked away with his steps rhythmic with the grunt of the pig. Then an artist passed by, who groaned because the man wanted to get out of the ditch. He was so beautiful, all silvered by slugs, with a nimbus of herbs and wild flowers under his head. He was so poetic, thought the artist, and he too drove away. And the minister of God passed by, who began to swear at the depravity of the city that frolicked or slept while a brother had fallen into the ditch. He was exalted and ran away to give a terrible sermon and the next mass. So the man remained in the ditch until he looked around, saw exactly where he had fallen, broke free, arched, levered himself with his arms and legs, stood up, and got out of the ditch with his own strength alone.